But Elon says we have to interface because Elon's fear is artificial intelligence. So once again, because we're human, we don't really think that we predict our own future. So we predict our own future. We're predicting the end of civilization through machines. So artificial intelligence, the truth be told, is once AI comes online, once we create a machine that can think for itself, human beings are obsolete. The question will be, will those machines destroy us, or will those machines look at us like ants? Will their intelligence get to be at that point where they'll just look at us like ants and be like, occasionally we'll step on them and we'll keep them out of our house, but for the most part, we just don't even pay attention to you ants. That'll be the question, because you just don't understand that once a computer can think for itself, it is going to think on a level and a speed that we cannot even comprehend. We won't even be able to understand. They will be doing things that will either make our lives the greatest they've ever been, or the worst. And so that's Elon. Elon's actually afraid of AI. Why? Because we won't be able to communicate with that level of intelligence. Our process, our 5 fingers, think about what you do on a phone, you won't be able to communicate at that level. So when you think of communication, how does everybody communicate now? Everybody communicates with the phone. Everybody uses their thumbs to communicate on said phone. You can only communicate certain things, and you are not fast enough. We're slow. We are actually slower in our communication with people now than we ever have, because the spoken word is much faster than your thumbs. So we have to be able to communicate with those artificial intelligence. Musk's thought is we either need to make the brain better, which means some sort of interface, or we need to be able to link in, just like you saw in, what's that Keanu Reeves movie? Matrix. Just like the Matrix, you need to be able to link into the computer so you can physically communicate at those speeds.
And who's going to sell you the new apps and fucking upgrades and the new programming?
Well, the other thing that you don't...
The dude that sold you the interface.
Yeah, the other thing that you don't understand is chances are, if you're watching this video, I'm sure Elon is not watching this video, when people talk about the future, and they talk about, bodies that being able to interchange bodies and all that stuff, they're not talking about us. They're not talking about the we people. Because just like I said before with a cure for cancer, this stuff is going to be expensive. And it's going to be expensive on purpose, because there are going to be parts of humanity that will get left behind. And if you are not uber rich,
which is part of what the Agenda 21 is,
you are going to get
thin the herd,
left behind.
More room to farm, more food to produce, and they still need the people to produce for that.
But once AI is possible, you're not thinking. You have to think outside of the box. So once AI is possible, you don't need people. Machines will do everything for you. And if you don't need people, who do you think they're going to save? Or who do you think? And it's not necessarily save. Let's say we do get to a point where we're cloning and we can download our minds onto a chip, and we can drop that into any new clone, so you can be anybody you want. You can have as many bodies as you want, and you'll never die. You and I will not be able to afford that. And because we will not be able to afford that, you and I, or I and you and I, we'll get to 65, 70, or whatever it is. Maybe we'll live to 100 because of technology that trickles down to the masses. They'll get some special pill that'll cure diabetes or whatever, and we'll live to 100, but we will still die. The rich people will be turned into gods.
Do you believe? So when you talk, go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say, that's it. We'll vanish from the planet, and you will have uber rich people that will be doing AI robot battles in their basements.
Communicate, you automatically went to this and then corrected to this, because this is really what it is. It's a problem. It seems like when you interact with people, especially younger people, kids, they don't have the ability to fucking communicate. They can't look you in the eye and they can't hold a fucking conversation. And when they do hold a conversation, we don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
That's because
you take 10 of them, they're having a conversation, and when you finally get out of it what it's about, it's not about fucking anything that's fucking, it's about some shit that doesn't fucking matter. Some shit that actually doesn't even exist other than online.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing that Elon's talking about is we technically are already operating in an environment where we have AI. So this thing right here that you're searching porn with is actually a symbiotic device that makes you smarter. You can have all the information at your fingertips. The problem is that's not how this works. So what you're not focusing on is that's not how this works. Because I have all that information in here, so if I have all that information in here, anything I want, I can figure out. I can figure out most anything that has been recorded now through this machine. What that means is I don't need to retain the information because the information is here. Because the information is here, I don't need to retain it. And because I'm not retaining information, I'm not using the information for reasoning. And because I'm not using information for reasoning, I'm actually becoming dumber.
Yep.
You have a generation that is becoming dumber. When you have kids coming out of college, so you think about this, you have kids right now coming out of college that think Che Guevara is awesome and socialism works. They are becoming dumber. Even though they have all the knowledge in the world right here, I have this
part
piece.
Part of that as well is programming from the people that fucking talk to them.
Well, it is programming, but if you have the if you have the capability of reasoning, if you still have the capability of reasoning in your mind, you should be able to take this device, look at it, and go,
let's back up though a minute.
oh shit, wait a minute.
Let's back up.
It never works.
Let's back up though a minute. Because they've been fucking manipulated. We sent our kids for 12 years to a babysitter that taught them their agenda. And as we know, fucking history has been rewritten and fucking changed. Read a text, grab a fucking history.
Well, yeah, to a certain
10 years apart. It's fucking completely different. So what's 30 years apart? So, I mean, there's a lot of that as well. They just don't care to look. They're just fucking, they're on that, they're being fed. They come right to the fucking nipple. They eat every fucking day. They get their download of fucking disinformation because they don't want those fucking kids to think. They don't want fucking competition with whatever it is they're fucking doing.
Well, it's a failing of an education system,
Which is failing.
But when you have a device that tells you everything you need to know, that's where it's killing. Because even when we went to school, the textbooks that we got, I think while I was in high school, I want to say the textbooks changed twice. So in 4 years, the textbooks changed twice. What they changed in them, all I wanted to do was get out of high school, so who knows. But the textbooks changed twice. The textbooks, just from 20 years earlier would have been totally different than the textbooks you and I looked at. But the difference is we had to search out for information. So let's say I wanted to know about...
We learned how to search information. Now they have no fucking idea. If the fucking electricity died, they wouldn't even know what to fucking look. Think about it.
Yeah.
When the internet blinks in here for 2 minutes,
it's chaos.
It literally changes what I'm doing through the day.
Yeah.
For 2 fucking minutes.
It's chaos. But you used to have to search out information, and so if I wanted to know about Vietnam, or I wanted to know about whatever, I would have to search out that information, and I would have to physically read that information. That helps in your retention. So that helps in your ability to retain that knowledge. you're not doing it anymore because you have no reason to retain that knowledge. So I mean, example, when we were growing up, you used to brag about how many phone numbers you could remember. So how many phone numbers you could remember?
How many do you remember?
Now?
I know like 3. My grandmother, who's been dead for over a decade, and I didn't dial the number for probably 2 decades. Like I would go see grandma, but I didn't talk to grandma on the phone. I know that phone number. I know my pager number from 1990.
You should call it
5718524. I know my mom's home number. She's passed away.
You should call that pager number.
I know Amanda's phone number and my phone number. Those are the only numbers I know. And if you ask me what my cell number is, it takes me a minute really to fucking even figure out what that is.
Yeah, so, and the reason why is because you have this machine that does it all for you. I'll bet you that there's some of you out there that don't even know how to find the phone number of the person that you're calling because it doesn't do that, right? You don't see the phone number anymore. It's Bill, Jill,
they don't even,
Bobby.
And they don't even fucking publish phone books in a lot of places.
Yeah, so your technology, while you think is making you smarter, and in certain things it does, in the sense of the geopolitical world and what's going on in South Africa or what's going on in whatever, but it also makes you dumber because a lot of the sources
you don't question
real.
them. Yeah, you don't question them. If something's popping up on your phone, assume somebody wants you to believe that fucking lie. And you don't ever question it.
The thing you need to understand is the best lies are half-truths.
Are the truths, yeah.
They're half-truths. So all I have to do to convince you that socialism is wonderful and beautiful is sprinkle a little bit of truth in there. That's it. That's all I have to do. I just have to sprinkle a little bit of truth in there, and I have to keep telling you that lie. And eventually you will believe it.
China's fucking awesome. You should all move there. Everybody has a job.
Yeah. Or go to Venezuela. If you don't want to go all the way to China, you can go to Venezuela. I mean, the reality is socialism never works. And the lowest common denominator are the ones that are sacrificed. That's the thing that most people don't understand. It's no different than here in capitalism, right? The lowest common denominator is sacrifice towards capitalism. It's even worse in a socialist country because when they sacrifice, they just round you up and shoot you. And I know you socialites, you socialists are like, hey, that's a great idea. There's a bunch of Trump supporters that we would like to round up and shoot. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. Yes. Do you get to run around and shoot at Trump supporters? Yeah. They're going to shoot back. But that's not how socialism works. Socialism's about the constriction of power. So you, at the school, with your I love socialism, you are going to be one of the first ones rounded up and killed. Because that's the first thing they take care of is the educated. You are going to be all your little Nazi books, all your little crazy professors that are making 6 figures, who are they're spouting all this fucking socialist bullshit. They too will be dragged out in a field and executed because they don't really believe. It's like this whole bullshit with Jim Carrey coming out and saying you need to accept socialism. He's rich. He's rich. He's rich.
It doesn't affect him.
He has been living in a fantasy world where money doesn't mean anything. They're gonna grab him and shoot him too, because he has no fucking clue what socialism really is. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how we got on this from oil infrastructure, but
because it's all the same thing. It's the elite. It's the fucking puppet show. That's why. Because it all fucking goes together. It's just another little tiny piece of that puzzle. Which one do you want to... And think about this. Because one topic we're talking about might not interest somebody, and we get on another little topic, but it's all really the same fucking picture. It's the same show you're watching. Because it's planting seeds. You just planted 100 seeds in 100 dudes' heads, and they just fucking woke up a little bit, and they're going to go fucking... And half of them think you're full of shit. They want to prove you wrong. So they're out there fucking typing feverishly right now, to prove you wrong, and they're finding out that what you said was not wrong. Don't believe anything fucking anyone says. Fucking question everything. All three of us are wearing black shirts. Somebody will walk in here and go, no, they're wearing red shirts because they have red on their shirt. Fucking question fucking everything. Or orange. All right. Last, give her a soundbite.
Something about
Hating women.
Only if it's Dianne Feinstein. She's a criminal and
Is
she
she
should be
dead?
prosecuted.
Isn't she dead?
Hell
She
no.
should be dead.
Hell no, she's
How long has
not.
she been a politician? 40 years?
Yep.
Who the fuck? I saw memes going around like from people that I'm pretty sure like, oh, rest her soul. Fucking what was the fucking Waco bitch's name? ATF?
Oh,
Janet
yeah.
Reno.
Janet
Janet Reno. Oh, fucking, we're gonna miss Janet. Like,
She passed away?
she's been dead for like.
Yeah, she's been dead a while.
Yeah.
Janet Reno.
She is a stretch, too. Just saying she.
Oh, gotcha.
I think
I think it's a guy.
John Maynard.
John Reno. It would be awesome if that came out.
Dude. The dude.
The best one, best thing.
I want to know, like, so when Einstein died, they took his brain, right? This dude had Einstein's brain. There's a book called Driving Einstein's Brain or something. It's about the story, fucking 20, 50, 30 years later, whatever it was, how this dude returns the brain to his grandson and, you know, just the events that lead up to this and everything. Where's the crazy scientist right now? Fucking cutting these one. Like, you know,
It has like, yeah, that
I
has,
would love to have Janet Reno's skeleton.
it has Janet Reno skeleton. I think it was just a little bit. So you think about when he died, still kind of a little bit different time. Like,
What are they going to say?
the
Like right now, dudes are doing shit that if found out, they would go to prison. But in 20 years, they'll be a fucking hero for what they fucking
oh yeah, I'm sure there's some stem cell guys or some there's some people out
Think
there
about
that are doing
the founding fathers of this country. They were all fucking considered criminals.
Yeah.
Well, they're traitors.
traitors. Some of the signers, the original signers, did get
That's what I'm talking
lost
about.
everything and were killed
That's what I'm talking about. What we call them heroes.
because they were.
So
For us,
don't live in fear. Just be careful.
soundbite, or it's probably not a good soundbite, but they're reopening the observatory in New Mexico. Okay, so they reopened the observatory, and this is you.
Can we go in the tunnels?
Look it up. I'm not making this shit up. I just think it's totally hilarious. I think it's funny, and this is kind of think about this is how conspiracy. This is why people end up going down rabbit holes in conspiracy theories, and why the X-Files was so popular.
It's back on.
The FBI goes in there, they raid this place. They don't tell anybody anything, not even the locals. Like the local sheriff's department, nope, sorry, we're not talking to you. They raid it, they do whatever they do. All the employees are going back to work today. All the employees are going back to work today. So they weren't growing meth, so what that means is they weren't making meth in the basement. They weren't, who knows, but all the employees are going back today. They do this big long article about the observatory reopening and how the FBI went and looked at the observatory. Now the news agencies are saying allegedly that they saw helicopters, allegedly that they saw armed SUVs from the FBI in the area. That they're not sure that that even happened anymore. So now all that stuff that they reported the day it happened,
They're rewriting your
they're
history.
rewriting it. They're like, hey, yeah, there really wasn't any helicopters. You guys didn't see no helicopters. There's a military base around here, and that's why you saw helicopters. It had nothing to do with us. Okay? They do this whole long thing. And then at the end of the story, and this is how a conspiracy happens. At the end, bottom of the story, they say, their words, not mine, but it definitely had nothing to do with aliens.
End of story.
End of story.
You know what I think? Go ahead, finish.
If think about the news and think about what they just reported. They're like, there was no black helicopters. There was no It was just a couple of FBI agents looking for whatever. And then at the end of the story, they have to put, but it definitely was no aliens. That's like, that. All you're doing is throwing bait out. The alien bait. That guy with the puffy hair from the History Channel, I guarantee you, was already in New Mexico, getting ready to come up with some ancient alien theory on why they got raided.
Well, it really happened.
Oh, I believe what we talked about earlier is what really happened.
I know what happened.
What happened? Let's hear your story.
A fired SEAL
The fired seal.
said they had machine guns and explosives. So they came to the shop looking for machine guns and explosives and didn't find none of that shit.
No,
And found some other silly little bullshit.
found
So
some.
they spent billions of dollars investigating. In our case, it was $2.1 million. And they had to fucking put some guys in jail over it. All because their informant was fucking dirty. That's probably what happened. It happens.
It happens. That's probably what happened. Or there really was an alien at the observatory.
Oh, at the observatory. Can we go in the tunnels? You know, do you notice, like, I catch myself doing this. When you say something, I just have to interrupt. Do you know why?
I think it's the same reason why I do it.
Why?
Is because I have so many thoughts going
Yep.
through my head
Yep.
that I'm afraid
I forget
that
them.
I'm going
I
to
forget
drop
them.
it.
Green cup, fucking water bottle, fucking sea salt, Himalayan sea salt. I have to fucking spurt it out right then because in 4 more sentences you're going to say something else, and I'm like, oh, that, and I'm
Yeah.
going to forget the other one. I literally almost need to write them down.
That's why this went from infrastructure to aliens in New Mexico.
Glad,
Because-
man, I thought I was getting Alzheimer's. I'm glad it's not just me.
No.
All right, turn that shit off.